if we can get going. Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Tanya Fernandes Anderson, the District 7 City Councilor. I am the chair of the Boston City Council Committee on Ways and Means. This hearing is being recorded. It is being live streamed at boston.gov/city-council-TV and broadcast on Xfinity Channel 8, RCN Channel 82, and Fios Channel 964. The Council's budget review process will encompass a series of public hearings beginning in April and running through June. We strongly encourage residents to take a moment to engage in this process by giving testimony for the record. You can do this in several ways: attend one of the hearings and give public testimony. We will take public testimony at each departmental hearing and also at 2 hearings dedicated to public testimony. The full hearing schedule is on our website at boston.gov/council-budget. Our scheduled hearings dedicated to public testimony was on April 26th at 6 p.m. and tonight, June 2nd at 6 p.m. When you are called to public testimony, your name and affiliation, please state your name, affiliation, and/or residence, and limit your comments to 2 minutes to ensure that all comments and concerns can be heard. You can email your written testimony to the committee at ccc.wm@boston.gov. Submit a 2-minute video of your testimony through the form on our website. For more information on the City Council budget process and how to testify, please visit the City Council's budget website at boston.gov/council-budget. Today's hearing is on dockets 0480 to 0482, dockets order for the FY23 operating budget, including annual appropriations for departmental operations for the school department and for other post-employment benefits, OPEB. Dockets 0483, orders for capital fund transfer appropriations, dockets 0484 to 0486. Orders for the capital budget, including loan orders and lease purchase agreements. Our focus area for this hearing will be public testimonies. I am joined today by my council colleague, Councilor President Ed Flynn, who represents District 2. I have a list of members of the public who signed up for testimony, and we'll go in the order of arrival. And I just to reiterate that you have 2 minutes to testify, and possibly I can extend a little bit of grace, but just keeping in mind that we have to allow everyone to testify so everyone's concerns are heard. And this is just a public testimony or listening session, so we won't be answering questions. I can give clarifying statements on the process and where we are in the budget season or the budget process, but not to answer each specific question that may be posed today. Without further ado, we'll go right into public testimony. I look forward to hearing from you. We are taking notes. We'll be writing them down. Everything that you say will be put on record. Without further ado, I have first on the list, Ms. Fatima Ahmed. Welcome.
Thanks.
And whenever you are ready, your name and affiliation and/or address.
Hi, I'm Fatima. I'm a resident of Dorchester, and I'm also executive director of Muslim Justice League, and have spoken to this many years in a row. But I'm so glad to speak to this with our new counselor, Tanya Fernandes Anderson. So I'm here to say, that for many years, many community folks, especially from communities of color who are overly policed and surveilled, have said that we need to move money from the police budget to things that actually keep us safe. I know that, many counselors, for example, have raised concerns about mental health. And there's actually a really great way that you can support that this year. There is a community-led design process that was funded by the city last year. And the model that they come up with is going to need money to actually be implemented in this current fiscal year. That is something that, community folks are doing because the best team co-response and all of the other responses to crises don't work. They're not meeting community needs and they don't keep people safe. And that is one thing that can be moved from the police to another place. So many of the things that we've talked about year after year can actually create other jobs, like the Office for Construction Details that Councillor Lara has introduced as an idea. According to Citizens for Juvenile Justice, about 75% of what the Boston Police Department responds to is not violent in any way. It ranges from people concerned about their neighbor's dog, to fireworks, to mental health response, to traffic enforcement. Those are all things that other people could do and actually create jobs for other people in our community and actually promote safety and wellness for communities who do not feel safe when the police show up. So we're here again urging you to actually do something different this year, hopefully with, a new counselor leading this year. Maybe we'll see something different. And I think there will be a number of people tonight speaking to the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ahmed. I look forward to working with you. If you don't have my email, of course, it's on the website, but it's tanya.anderson@boston.gov. Feel free to contact me for any follow-up. Have a good night. Next, we have Emmy Takinami.
Thank you to the Boston City Council Committee on Ways and Means, especially the chair, Councillor Fernandez Anderson, for this opportunity tonight to share testimony. My name is Amy Takanami. I use she, her, hers, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Boston Liberation Health, a group of social workers, social service workers, and health and mental health care users advocating for social justice and liberation here in Boston and around the world. Boston Liberation Health was started nearly 20 years ago by a group of clinical social workers in Boston and now has over 2,400 members worldwide. BLH, or Boston Liberation Health, is joining the chorus of voices, including Muslim Justice League, who we just heard from, demanding Mayor Wu and the City Council divest $120 million from the $400 million Boston police budget, including a real cap on overtime spending. We're demanding that part of that $120 million be invested into the community-led mental health crisis response model, which we know will need sustainable funding to safely and successfully be implemented. We also think the $120 million should be invested into programs that mitigate poverty, which is the root cause of behavior that is criminalized, such as youth jobs, truly affordable housing, universal health care, and free and equitable public pre-K through college education. And while we recognize that some of these things are outside the direct purview of the city, let's take action during this unprecedented moment to make transformational changes and reject the continued policing, surveillance, and impoverishment of our communities. We hope that this year's budget reflects our shared vision for a more just and equitable distribution of resources, which is going to allow all of our community members to access their right to live healthy, safe, and dignified lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Emmy. I look forward to talking and working with you. Thank you. We now have Mr. Thomas Brown. We'll go to Victoria Cotter next.
Hello, good evening. My name is Victoria. I live north of Boston, and I thank you for listening to the public this evening, including myself. I, too, demand that Mayor Wu and the city councilors divest $120 million from the $400 million Boston police budget. including real cap overtime spending and freezing of new hiring, and instead use that money in the community for housing, mental health response, construction details, and youth jobs. As an elementary school teacher, I also want more money obviously put into education. I will say the mental health and social emotional needs of my students are great, and that need will continue as they grow in age. And divesting and reallocating this $120 million will assist in setting up a society that best benefits the children I teach when they grow up and become adults. And I thank you again for listening to my share.
Thank you so much, Ms. Victoria. You have a wonderful afternoon. Next, we have Elizabeth Yang. Please correct me, Elizabeth, if I mispronounce your last name.
Yes, it's Wynn. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for hearing testimony today. I'm Elizabeth Wynn, and I'm a volunteer with the Boston Immigration Justice Accompaniment Network. I'm also a member of the clergy. And I want to use this time to lift up the story of Maria, who I have known for 5 years. I'm a resident of JP. She is a resident of East Boston. And she's not here today because she's busy doing emergency planning after her son was arrested by Boston police on May 27th. He was charged with window obstructed, non-transparent, and unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle, so tinted windows, and not having a license because he can't get a license without immigration status. Because he lacks status, he's now at risk of deportation. His family, his children may be separated from him, all of the consequences we know about. Beyond, and I strongly support the demands that others are raising to divest at least $120 million from the BPD budget, cap overtime spending, invest in community-based mental health resources, freeze the hiring of new officers. We know that people want real safety. Maria and her son want real safety. What they're living through right now is not safety. Beyond's Connected Immigration Bond Fund has raised over $1 million to help bond people out of ICE cages over the past 5 years, mostly through faith groups, community members. As community members, we're doing what we can, and we're asking the City Council to do what you all can for real safety for people like Maria. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wen. I look forward to hearing from you or talking with you soon. Take care. Next, we have Maya Milik.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to the Committee on Ways and Means for hearing testimony today. My name is Maya Milik-Strickey, pronouns they, she, and then I'm one of the folks like Elizabeth who just testified, sharing testimony on behalf of Beyond, Boston Immigration Justice Accompaniment Network. We're a network of immigrants, families, and community supporting each other and fighting against the criminalization of migration. I'm also a social worker and steering committee member of Boston Liberation Health. So through these roles and community relationships, I've observed sort of time and again the harms and negative impacts on community members' health and mental health that's caused by policing and the criminalization of immigration, such as through the collaboration between the BPD and ICE that recently led to a community member bailed out after a BPD arrest to immediately be arrested by ICE outside of the Suffolk County House of Correction. So Beyond, as Elizabeth says, strongly supports the demands that others are also raising to divest at least $120 million from the BPD budget, cap overtime spending, and freeze hiring of new officers. So our immigrant community, particularly undocumented and BIPOC folks, is one community group that is most harmed by the systemic violence of policing, both through BPD and ICE. And so instead of spending more than $1 million a day on the Boston police, we should instead be investing in community groups and resources that truly support community members' mental health and overall well-being, such as affordable housing, the new community mental health crisis response proposal, healthcare and youth jobs. So for the FY23 budget, please shift funding away from the police into community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maya. I look forward to working with you. Next, we have Nick Arthur.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Arthur. I am a current resident of Boston. and I am a proud family member and team member of the Phoenix. So for those that don't know, the Phoenix is a sober, active community that looks to engage people in recovery services and in Boston, in the greater area of Boston. And so I'd like to just talk a little bit about my story. I came into the Phoenix about a year ago, and I was physically and mentally unhealthy. And one of the first things that I noticed about coming into the Phoenix is a sense of community and motivation. I learned a lot about myself in the last year, not just physically. I lost 70 pounds, but I also learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the traits that I have that I can work on and both, excel at. And the sense of community that I found was welcoming. It was loving. It didn't have to just be working out. I had a lot of opportunities. I could come in and have coffee and talk about my life, talk about things that are going on, talk with other people. And so some of the other things that I do in Boston, I'm involved with the Gavin Foundation. And so I'm currently a 3/4 house mentor. And so I've been able to work with both the people in my house and also young adults to come into the Phoenix and just bringing together and bridging recovery services to the Phoenix and seeing the joy and the love that I found for this place. Nothing makes me happier than seeing that look on other people's faces. It has done a tremendous amount for me. And I really hope that, more people get to see this place and more people get to change and feel the love that I have for the Phoenix. And so I would like to encourage the support for Phoenix's $5 million proposal and investment in recovery communities in Boston. This place has changed my life, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick. I really love the work that you guys do there at the Phoenix, and so happy and congratulations for your accomplishments and your story. And good luck with the journey. I look forward to connecting with you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Okay. Next, we have Ms. Janice Hamilton.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, City Council and Ways and Means. I'm so pleased to be joining you. My name is Janice Hamilton. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Boston and currently living in the Parkway area. I am representing all of the seniors and am here to request that funding be included in the 2023 budget for a site study to determine the best location for a senior center in the Parkway area. We currently have very limited locations for any summer activities. Additionally, the activities offered by the senior services are extremely limited due to the lack of a permanent location for seniors. Senior centers are recognized by the Older Americans Act as a community focal point and have become one of the most widely used services among America's older adults. The National Council on Aging reports that senior center users can learn to manage and delay the onset of chronic disease and experience measurable improvements in their physical, social, spiritual, emotional, mental, and economic well-being. West Roxbury alone is home to a population of over 9,000 senior citizens, which is 27% of the neighborhood's population. This is the highest concentration of senior citizens of any neighborhood in the city of Boston. Boston currently operates just 2 standalone senior centers. One is in Charlestown and one is in Dorchester, with the 3rd center scheduled to open soon in East Boston, which, by the way, has taken 15 years to start the planning and get it into the actual implementation and opening stages. So none of these locations, needless to say, are realistically accessible to the residents of West Roxbury, Roslindale, or Hyde Park, or what is termed, I believe it's termed Southwest Boston. On the map, when you look at the map, we're considered Southwest Boston. A study to determine the best site for a senior center in the Parkway area is the first crucial step toward ensuring that all of Boston seniors have access to the life-enhancing services that these facilities provide. We want to thank you. We've spoken with quite a few counselors for your support in the past thus far, and ask that you continue to make this a top priority in the 2023 budget and going forward. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Ms. Janice. I appreciate your statements, a very valid one. Seniors should be a priority for us all. I look forward to speaking with the other counselors and see where we go with that. I can't remember off the top of my head if there's already a proposal for what you're suggesting, but please email me for any follow-up or questions you have.
I believe there is. I think Council Lara has a suggestion in there.
Okay, so yeah, let's follow up on email to confirm.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, a pleasure. Patrick's not here. And next we have Binks Perino.
Hi, yes, thank you all so much. My name is Binks Perino, and I'm a Dorchester resident. I am here today to testify or to advocate that the City of Boston divest $120 million from the Boston Police Department's budget in order to fund new community mental health responses, community-led safety programs, and affordable housing. I've been working in the city's homelessness services for about a year now, and what I've learned from my experience serving Boston's most vulnerable population is that poverty drives people to commit petty misdemeanors in order to survive. Often without the income to provide themselves with consistent meals and a change of clothes, folks experiencing homelessness turn to means of survival that are illegal. Once caught, their records are tarnished, which then creates barriers to jobs and affordable housing in Boston. The system we have is set up in such a way to keep people at a disadvantage and in poverty, which reproduces cycles of trauma. The most vulnerable in the city have not benefited from the police, but they will benefit from community mental health responses, community-led safety programs, and affordable housing. We can invest in harm reduction and mental health response that can assist folks who struggle with substance use or mental health conditions that need medical care. We can invest in affordable housing so that folks experiencing homelessness can find a secure and permanent place to live. I work very closely with the folks who were swept out of their tents this winter, and I know that the city has recently invested in rapid rehousing programs. This is a short-term solution to a long-term issue that the city does not have enough affordable housing for its disadvantaged population. Boston needs to expand and better fund affordable housing in the city. I'm asking, both as a housing advocate and a resident, that the City of Boston divest $120 million from the Boston Police Department and invest that money instead into new community mental health responses, community-led safety programs, and affordable housing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Binks. Appreciate your testimony. Next, we have Ashley DiStefano. We'll go to Anthony Davis Pate.
Hi, my name is Anthony Davis Pate, and I'm here representing Black and Pink Massachusetts. We also demand that Mayor Wu and the city councilors divest $120 million from the $400 million Boston police budget, including a real cap on overtime spending. We also demand that they invest the $120 million budget into community mental health response, youth jobs, affordable housing, and an office for construction details. And we also demand that they freeze all hiring for the Boston Police, meaning no new cops and no new cadets. Our members at Black and Pink Massachusetts are largely made up of LGBTQIA people and people living with HIV, who are disproportionately impacted by the criminal punishment system. And our members know firsthand that police do not make our communities safer. In a report done by the National Coalition of Anti-Violence Programs, it was found that trans people are nearly 7 times more likely than cis people to experience physical violence when interacting with the police, and trans people who hold multiply marginalized identities like Black and Brown, Indigenous, disabled, undocumented, and trans people these trans people who face much greater risk for police violence and harassment. So we know that we can keep our communities safer without increasing the police budget. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Anthony. I love Black and Pink and the work that you guys do there. Appreciate your testimony. Take care. Next, we have Chad Fletcher.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So probably one of the very few people here that has a mask on, but I'm around other people and I've been feeling a bit under the weather. I didn't have a prepared statement, but I was involved in these meetings going back to 2020. Right after that day, which we know is May 25th. Now I might be a bit out of the loop, but I am very much concerned that the promises that were made, when it comes to taking money out of the BPD budget and using that or applying it to other programs that get to the root of crime in neighborhoods that are economically challenged is actually a thing. Another thing that also has me concerned too is just I think what more money and research should be devoted to, away from just adding more police, is the roots of a lot of the mass shootings. Let's just look at the last two that occurred within this past week. There's none that I know of here in the city, but that's not to say that we can't or we will not have one. That's just my food for thought. I hope that, and I do hope that we never have a George Floyd. We never have a mass shooting somewhat like what we've seen in Buffalo or anything even close to that. Or I can't even mention Oklahoma. So yeah, thank you for listening to what I have to say.
Thank you so much, Chad. I hope you feel better. Thank you for your testimony. Next, we have Heidi Lee.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, this is my first, so I'm going to be a little nervous. Thank you for your time, everyone. My name is Heidi Hyunjin Lee, and I'm a resident of Jamaica Plain. I am a peer member of the Mental Health Crisis Response Community-Led Design Group, along with, I believe, 13 others. My background is I've been a high school educator in Boston for over a decade. Been a community program art director for over 7 years in Boston, and also case manager at Boston Healthcare for the Homeless Program, also as a housing specialist and certified peer specialist, working with the interventions on mass and CAS, and many engagements with police, EMT engagement center folks, and so on. But more importantly, I am an individual with lived experience, daily managing my own chronic mental health conditions, and having experienced at least half a dozen interventions, having been Section 12 to myself, and the traumas involved with that. As an Asian American in the city, I have reason to believe from friends, elderly, who shared with me their fears of being attacked, and just a lot of the anti-Asian hate that is happening in this country and in the city. And I have reason to believe and want to believe that, not all police are bad, but at the same time, I have seen enough in my line of work in mass and CAS and as a high school teacher that though with good intention, we need to move away from this kind of crisis management that is ineffective, that we need to move more towards preventative measures for our youth in the city, as well as, just really being able to use some of the resources that will, create sustainable change. So I'm urging the city council to cut the $120 million from the police budget and move those funds to investments that actually keep the community safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heidi. I really appreciate your insightful wisdom today, and I look forward to, if you need to follow up, please email me. Look forward to talking to you. Take care. Is Gerald with us? Okay. Next, we have Sophia Michelle. We'll go to Nabila Islam. Sophia is here.
Yes, I'm here. Blessed evening.
Hi, Sophia.
I didn't know you were going to call me on me tonight. I just wanted to come on tonight. I'm also part of a program called Smart from the Start. So my name is Sophia Michelle, and I'm a mother of 3. And I reside from the Rosendale area, Boston. And I just wanted to share that I wanted to let the city knows that this program is a successful program that's been going on for many years, over 15 years. And we would like to continue the funding because it starts from our children to continue the growth. It starts from a child to older. So what I'm trying to say is that Smart from Start been around for many years with many, many different programs. And we would like to continue these programs from now to education for public school and to charter and for more time on, because what I'm trying to say also is just that this program been reaching out with books, resources with the community, helping out families navigate the gap or where we need to be as a family, as a mom, a dad for our children. And I feel like this program is a family, not just a program. They made us feel it as is a home, and it's at peace where we find all these programs that's out there. They're all over the place. Smart from the Start has given us a connection to be under one umbrella, and we would like to continue that one umbrella to reach out to all the families across Boston, throughout anywhere, to make all our families feel at home and also to know where to go when there's a need or a problem. I feel like Smart from the Start had helped my children. I have a 14-year-old, 11-year-old, and an 8-year-old with many gaps where my son at 4 years old didn't speak. And Smart from the Start put that pilot up there for my kids to speak, to know where to go and get help and speak to therapists, go to different schools and speak for them. And we are our children's advocate. So we would like to continue more and speak for our children. And another thing that I wanted to also say is that it don't start from here. Our kids are our futures. It starts as a plant. So we would like to continue and have them grow and make sure that they have the funding in this community to get them where they need to be. There's so much going on, gun violence, all these other things. Parents are who needs help, who can't find housing. Smart from the Start did all that for us, find housing. I'm a cancer survivor. They helped me out with my housing. They helped me out finding programs for my kids, activities, and everything and all. So I would like for you guys to help out with any program, any fundings that you guys have for this program, because it's as a family, and we would like to continue to grow because families don't know where to go when, all these things. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. I didn't know you were going to call on me today, so I didn't have everything prepared, but thank you so much for listening, and go Smart from the Start.
I appreciate your parental advocacy. We definitely appreciate Smart from the Start, a wonderful program, and thank you so much for your advocacy and testimony today. I look forward to connecting with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
I will do so.
Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Nabila Islam.
Hi, my name is Nabila Islam, she, her. I am one of the, thank you for the Committee on Ways and Means and Councillor Anderson for letting me speak. I've been a volunteer with Bijan, the Boston Immigration Justice Accompaniment Network, for the last 2 years. I'm also an immigrant myself. And I study migration as a PhD candidate in sociology at Brown University. I wanted to speak about what I've observed as an immigrant myself, and through my roles as a scholar and as an advocate and volunteer at Bijan, especially how policing and the criminalization of immigration and in key ways, the collaboration between police and immigration authorities lead to enormous harm for community members, especially undocumented and BIPOC community members. For example, as Elizabeth also mentioned, an undocumented community member was recently arrested by Boston police for having tinted windows and not having a license. And now he's currently waiting in Nashua Street Jail and worried about getting transferred to an ICE facility and family separation and losing income and all of that entails. Bijan strongly supports all the demands that have come up, especially the demands to divest at least $120 million from the BPD budget and cap overtime spending and freeze hiring of new officers. Our immigrant community are really harmed by the systemic violence of policing, both through BPD and ICE. Instead of spending more than $1 million a day on the Boston police, we should be investing in community groups and resources that provide support and safety, such as affordable housing, licenses for all, the new community mental health crisis response proposal, healthcare, and youth jobs. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Islam. And I appreciate your advocacy and your work with Bijan. Look forward to connecting with you as well. Take care. Next, we have Nasika.
I'm here.
Oh, awesome. Please state your name and affiliation or address.
No problem. Hi, my name is Nasika Verdu. I am a resident in Hyde Park, and I'm a part of District 5.
Do you attend John D. O'Brien? I remember you.
No, I don't. I go to BLA. I used to go to BLA, and now I go to Northeastern University.
Oh, okay. I got it confused. I'm sorry. Thanks for joining us today.
Problem. So I'm with YJPU, and I just wanted to testify and say that I agree with everything that Fatima said and about how there are many examples of situations in our community that doesn't need the police response, but yet we still do it because that's how we're trained to. And I feel like we should untrain ourselves, because I just want to acknowledge how a few hearings ago during the police budget hearing, the police were talking about their mental health and how they had so much on their plate to handle. And I completely agree with them. But what I don't agree with is how they want to solve the solution. They want to solve the solution by adding more police. And I don't think that's what we need. I think we need to stop adding people that don't have the capacity to do what needs to be done. We need to invest into our community to lighten the load that the police currently carry. We can invest by divesting from the police. So because of this, I demand that Mayor Wu divest $120 million from the police budget, and I demand that we cap the police overtime budget. I demand that we freeze hiring, because again, hiring more people that don't know what they're doing is just filling a sinking ship, and at the end of the day, it's still gonna sink. So I want us to take that money instead and invest into our new community health responses. I want us to fund more community-led safety programming. I want initiatives, because people have already said that they don't feel safe with the police around. And I also want us to increase the youth budget to $26 million. And I feel like we should create and protect the affordable housing that we currently have. That's my demands. And I hope Mayor Wu can also listen to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nasika. I appreciate your testimony and advocacy. Next, we have Carmelo Howie.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you, Carmelo.
All right. My name is Carmelo Howe. I live in Dorchester. and specifically District 7. And I demand that Mayor Wu and the city councilors divest $120 million from the $400 million police budget, including a real cap on overtime spending, and invest $120 million into community mental health responses, youth jobs, affordable housing, and an office for construction details. And along with that, freeze all hiring for the Boston Police, no new cops and no new cadets. The city must invest like the money into community mental health, youth jobs, affordable housing, because those things will actually help our communities in ways that will help uplift the people and not just keep them down, such as putting them in prison or in like an area, put them in prison in a place where they can't grow as a person and are just being punished instead of being taught ways to grow as a person and avoid actually do it, like repeat offending. In 2020, Mayor Wu committed to cutting the police budget by 10% down to $373 million. In 2021, she committed to reinvesting police funding in the community and agreed in a youth forum that we should decrease the number of officers. But now she is only cutting the budget to $396 million, and there will be more police officers than before. This makes me feel like the people were kind of lied to, because even she's barely decreasing the budget, but still at the same time hiring more cops. And that's all I think I'd like to say. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Carmelo. I appreciate your testimony. Next, we have Patrice Barker. Is Patrice with us? Patrice, you may have to accept a designation if you can hear us.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Patrice. I'm with the organization Smart from the Start, which has been so instrumental and impactful to my family over the years. We started 11 years ago when Isaiah, my first son, was 30, who is now 13, was only 2. I saw a flyer at the Mattapian Library, and I said, let me try it out by attending their mother-child program that same week. Over the years, they have helped me with Isaiah's shyness, food, clothing, and later on, my 2 other sons, especially Patrick, who has autism. As for myself, I can't thank Smart from the Start enough for helping me with my social and emotional well-beings. It was in a time when I had to talk about my son, it was with Smart. With my divorce, it was with Smart. As a family leader for the Mattapian Division, I take my full role seriously to help other parents to come on out to join this amazing family and to get rid of the stigma that we face on a daily basis. Overall, they help improve my family access to a better home, better education, and presently to be the best mom to my 3 sons raising in this area. There are lots more family like mine across Boston who need the same services that Smart from the Start provide. And in so means, I am asking you guys, please, I'm asking you guys to consider Smart from the Start as part of your funding. Smart has received the same amount of funding from the city of Boston for the last 14 years. Despite growing tremendously as an organization, we are asking for an increase to reach more families. Please refer to the written testimony that was submitted from Smart from the Start about the programs and all the different activities that we offered. Thank you for your time and all that you do on behalf of children and families like mine in and around the city of Boston.
Thank you so much, Patrice. Once again, we really appreciate, I really appreciate Smart from the Start. Love to hear your story and your experience with them. Looking forward to connecting with you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Nazra Is it Aden?
Yeah, it's Nafda Aden.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Nafda Aden. I'm part of YJPU and I live in District 7. In 2020, Mayor Michelle Wu committed to cutting the police budget by 10%, down to $370 million. In 2021, she committed to reinvesting police funding in the community and agreed in a youth forum that we should decrease the number of officers. But now she is only cutting the budget to $396 million, and there will be more police officers. This makes me feel upset because if Mayor Wu promised something, she should fulfill her promise. Cutting the budget by less than 1%, Wu should keep her promise and stay by her word. If you are going to make a promise, stick by it. This year, the City Council can pass amendments to the budget. I urge the City Council to cut $120 million from the police budget and move these funds to investments that actually keep the community safe and healthy. This includes mental health response, youth jobs, and affordable housing, and having an office for construction details. Investing money into youth jobs gives youth much more opportunities for them to be engaged in their community, realizing responsibility, money, and time management, but also having them realize the importance of responsibilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nasra, for your advocacy and all of the wonderful work that you guys do. Always a pleasure seeing you.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Next, we have Hamdi Aden.
Yeah, hi. Okay. Hi, my name is Hamdi. I live in Roxbury, District 7. I'm with YJP, and I think the city of Boston must invest in youth jobs instead of policing. The way this would impact my community is unemployed youth tend to feel left out, leading to social exclusion. Youth having jobs will lead to better use of their time. When teens choose to have a job, employees teach responsibility and good work habits, improve time management and organization skills, and help them save money. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you so much, Hamdi. That was wonderful. I appreciate your advocacy. Next, we have George Lee.
Hello.
Hello, George.
Hi, my name is George Lee. I'm also an organizer with Youth Justice and Power Union. Thank you, Chair Anderson, for holding this hearing today and also for just shepherding the overall process, including the working session today. Just really making sure city councilors on behalf of their constituents can be putting forward amendments and really saying what we need. And just hoping that councilors can support the amendment that Councilor Lara put forward to fully fund youth jobs to the amount that Michelle Wu, the mayor, promised, 6,000 summer jobs, 1,500 school year jobs, which would really cost $26 million, not $12.6 million, and to get funding from the police department to do that. And hoping that all the councilors were considering it. Councilors Louisiane, Bach, Worrell, I live in Councilor Worrell's district, Braden, Coletta, Royal, just hoping that you will vote to support that amendment. Definitely.
Can you repeat the amounts again?
Sure. The mayor's currently funding 12.6 million, and we're trying to get that up to 26 million, which would actually fund the number of jobs that the mayor has said she wants to do. Also definitely agree that overtime both needs to be cut in this year's budget as a way to get money for reinvesting in things, as well as long-term, some more serious reforms. It's possible to get the police to cut it now, but there's more. But also the number of positions. Right now, the current budget has additional positions for both police officers and 18 to 25-year-old cadets. There were 2 police academy classes last year instead of 1. So there's not a need to have an extra academy class this year. We could just not have any new classes. For example, there's 10 more mobile officers. There's more canine officers, bomb squad officers. We could really cut down the number of positions as well as overtime. Also hoping that some councilors will introduce an amendment to fully fund a community mental health response. The mayor's appointed a group working on that, but there needs to be money to go behind that, as well as making sure that none of the $79 million in collective bargaining reserves is used to retroactively increase the police budget when folks have been working hard to decrease it. Thank you very much again, and looking forward to seeing how everyone votes. Take care.
Thank you very much for your hard work and advocacy for the community. Looking forward to connecting with you for updates as well. Next, we have Mario Paredes.
Hello, sorry, I was having some trouble with audio there. Thank you. My name is Mario Paredes. I'm a resident of West Roxbury in District 6. I also work in the city of Boston as a civil rights attorney in defense and support of immigrants across the state. It's imperative that Mayor Wu and the city councilors divest $120 million from the $400 million police budget, including a real cap on overtime spending. Those $120 million should instead be invested into projects that strengthen communities, such as community mental health response teams, youth jobs, affordable housing, and an office for construction details. Further, Boston should freeze all hiring for the Boston Police. As an attorney, I often get behind the scenes look at the ways that police interactions disproportionately harm low-income residents and people of color. These community members are burdened with heightened surveillance and harassment that often results in punitive measures such as cumbersome fees, jail time, and possible immigration consequences that drive these communities further into poverty. For too long, police budgets have functioned as an endless hamster wheel that fails to address root causes of community harm. The issues that policing tends to solve through surveillance and criminalization stem from underfunding of other support systems, and each dollar applied towards policing is a dollar taken away from direct community investment. I will go out on a limb here and guess that most of our budgets at home look nothing like the Boston budget. We probably invest most of our personal money on housing, food, transportation, education, health, and recreation because we know those are the drivers of healthy and vibrant homes for ourselves, our children, our parents, and our loved ones. Imagine living in a home where one of the largest line items was security and punishment. Imagine thinking that each year you have to give up you have to give up more of your paycheck towards security when your children are suffering from lack of nutrition, or your parents' health is deteriorating, or your rent is increasing. That is not the type of home most of us would want to live in. Yet as a city, that is exactly what we are doing. Yesterday, as I was driving through Hyde Park, I counted 6 police officers on foot within a 4-block radius. 4 of them were directing traffic. 2 of them were standing off to the side, probably alternating with their colleagues. An additional police car happened to be driving in front of me, stuck in traffic, and decided to cut ahead of the car in front of them and run a red light, a move that would have resulted in at least a fine for any of the civilians who were also in traffic. A few blocks from there was a man experiencing homelessness. Where we invest our money says a lot about our priorities, and I hope that Boston reinvests money where it most matters. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Attorney Paredes. I appreciate your advocacy and your work. If you shall need any follow-up, please email me. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is everyone we have signed up. We do see someone logged in as YJPU. So if you wish to testify, please raise your hand, your Zoom hand, so that we can allow you in. Before we move on to any counselors that are here currently for statements, we have 2 recordings to play. Counselor President Flynn, I can allow you to go ahead if you wish to make a statement, and then we can play the recording.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for conducting this meeting. Thank you, Madam Chair, for the important work that you're doing, being available tonight, listening to the concerns of residents across the city, informative discussion from residents. Also want to say thank you to City Council Central staff for helping coordinate tonight's meeting as well, and to Attorney Michelle Goldberg. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Council President Flynn. We appreciate you. We'll move on to playing our 2 recordings, testimonies and recording, and then see if we have anyone else left.
Hey there, my name is Chesson Gertler. I'm a JP resident. Look, we've got to get a dog park in JP. We actually should probably have multiple ones. So many people in the area have dogs. It's a huge part of the community. It's a huge part of the lifestyle here, and we don't have a dedicated space for dogs to play. It's also a big part of the social fabric of the area. So typically what we do is go and let our dogs out in tennis courts, which we're not supposed to do because we don't have any other space. It would also be pretty cost effective and pretty easy given the options we have to put parks in the area. Franklin Park is a great option to build a big dog park where dogs can run. We also have space down by the bike path into kind of downtown Boston. It's just got to happen at this point. It would be a good thing for the community in so many ways. I honestly think it would just improve the lifestyle and the fabric of the area so much. All right. So please take this into consideration. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Shannon Malloy, and I am recording a testimony for presentation during the City Council legislation meeting on June 2nd. Public testimony. So a couple of things that I just wanted to pledge support for are the Crane Ledge Woods project. It's an important project to preserve inland, urban, wild land and also essential greenscape in environmental justice communities. And so I'd like to recommend an increased commitment in natural woodland urban tree canopy, which will impact heat and flooding and other impacts of climate change. And so I would like to support that the budget supports the purchase of this area of land. I'd also like to support staffing for the building emissions reduction and disclosure ordinance. It's an extremely important and widely celebrated achievement. It's going to hold big buildings accountable for their large contribution to climate change. But these goals won't happen if there's not enough staff in EEOS to track the emissions, calculate the data, support building owners as they transition, and ensure that enforcement occurs. So I would advocate for several additional staff to EEOS, in addition to the fellows that they're already bringing on, as well as plenty of resources for compensating the review board and funding a deeply equitable selection process. I'd also like to advocate for BPS retrofits. So advocating for more money being allocated towards deep retrofitting and non-fossil fuel-based HVAC for BPS schools. Also retrofitting for housing and also more funds allocated towards new homeowner acquisition opportunities and establishment of anti-displacement areas. So
all right. That's all of the people that we have signed up for today. I'd like to thank everyone for your testimony. Just a brief summary or of what, or update of what has been happening thus far in the budget process. We have held approximately 28 hearings or close to that, and on different departments. And basically, departments come in and we've talked to them, we've asked questions, we've held working sessions where we discuss the different ideas or questions or concerns or suggestions that we have. We moved into the working sessions where we would apply our amendments, and then in the following week, we will present to the administration or the mayor's office our amendment recommendations, and she will have, or the administration will have 1 week to respond. At that point, we will need 7 votes in order to submit or to vote on the amendment submitted to her. And if that amendment or that version of the budget gets rejected by the mayor or vetoed, we will then need 9 votes in order to override her veto. Meanwhile, we are basically almost at the conclusion of the budget process. If you have any other inputs, I welcome you to send any emails either to myself or Attorney Goldberg for Ways and Means Committee. And where we would certainly read and put them into record. And for considerations, I encourage you to continue to advocate and to contact us, to write us, and to lobby us, and look forward to giving you any updates. Our council hearing, next council hearing, of course, is on Wednesdays, where we will vote on the recommended amendments, and you're welcome to attend to that as well. So if I look forward to, so if you have any additional remarks, again, any statements, if you'd like to contact me, feel free to, and I look forward to talking with each and every one of you. I thank you, and I'd like to thank my councilor colleague, Council President Flynn from District 2, who is always supportive and always present and advocating. And I'd like to thank every single one of you who testified today. Again, so many strong positions and advocacy, great work in the community. And again, I look forward to working with each and every single one of you. Thank you to the administrative team, and thank you to Attorney Goldberg for always holding us down with this budget process. And everyone have a wonderful night. This meeting is adjourned.